Coming up on Win News, angry apartment owners speak out about changes to rates. ACT and New South Wales Police join forces, and Jindabyne's Adam Lambert makes his Olympic debut.
Across Canberra and its surrounding regions, this is Win News.
Tonight, a man faces court accused of people trafficking. A young male taken to hospital after a crash in Fyshwick. And the rate hikes that have apartment owners up in arms. Good evening, I'm Geoff Phillips. Also coming up in this bulletin, a Duggan mother of 4 opens up about her battle with melanoma. A man has faced an ACT court accused of bringing a young woman from overseas to Canberra to provide sex work to men. Police fear there may be more victims of the alleged people trafficker as unions speak out over broader concerns as to the prevalence of the crime in our region.
Bradley Lester Gray was taken in by detectives after a nearly 6-month probe into allegations of exploitative behaviour.
A child is in a serious condition in hospital tonight after a crash in Fyshwick. Police say an unregistered motorbike and a ute collided at the intersection of Canberra Avenue and Ipswich Street around lunchtime. The rider of the motorbike, who witnesses say was a teenager suffering from injuries across his body, was treated at the scene before being taken to hospital. Police are investigating the crash and are asking anyone who saw it happen or has dashcam vision to get in touch. Opposition leader Alastair Coe has gone into bat for thousands of Canberrans doing it tough under the ACT government's rate hikes, calling on the Public Accounts Committee to investigate. Meantime, unions have welcomed changes to workplace laws allowing employers to spy on staff.
Alastair Coe, a man on a mission, calling for fairness for Canberra apartment owners struggling under the ACT government's rates regime.
The Canberra region has enjoyed calmer weather conditions today after a combination of heat and wild winds tested our emergency crews in the previous 24 hours. Win News tonight takes you inside the control centre, which responded to dozens of calls for help and prevented the situation from becoming any worse.
Trees down on fences, a car crushed by fallen branches, and elevated fire dangers brought on by the harsh winds. It was a frantic day in the ACT's Emergency Management Centre, as unusual gusts in excess of 70 kilometres an hour were recorded.
Goulburn's steady population growth is helping drive the city's strong economy. Not only is the housing market steaming ahead, but the commercial sector is also making its mark on the map.
Situated just off one of the major highways in Australia's southeast, it makes sense for large businesses to set up shop in Goulburn.
Stay with us after the break. A selection of rare and unique maps goes on display at the ANU. And Baker Boy ready to put on a show at the National Multicultural Festival. A Duggan mother has opened up about her ongoing battle with melanoma in an effort to encourage Canberrans to stay sun smart. It comes ahead of Sunday's annual Melanoma March, which raises awareness and funds for life-saving research.
Mum of 4 Sharon de Rossini is more sun smart than most, and with good reason.
The Australian National University has unpacked its extensive collection of maps, some of which have never been on display before. Over a dozen maps will be on show as part of a special exhibition with an emphasis on Asia, Australia and the Pacific.
The ANU's rich map collection has been dug out of the vaults and now it's on show for the world to see.
An expanded V8 supercar series has been launched. More rounds, night racing, old rivalries and new drivers will give fans plenty to look forward to, with regional centres to cash in.
A glitzy launch to the supercar season.
Sport is next with Amy, and a tough night for the Brumbies in their final pre-season trial.
It was, Geoff. They just couldn't find a way past the Chiefs. We'll have that next. Plus, Sia Soliola runs into trouble as the Raiders hit the surf on the Sunshine Coast. In sport, the Brumbies have been unable to snap their losing streak against their New Zealand opponents, going down to the Chiefs in their final pre-season trial. It was the Kiwis that dominated early before the Brumbies lifted in the second half.
It was hot, humid conditions on the Sunshine Coast, but that didn't stop the Brumbies scrum half Joe Powell pouncing on a Chiefs error.
Jindabyne's Adam Lambert has had a tough start to his Olympic career, missing out on a place in the snowboard cross quarterfinals after getting tangled up with an opponent. Despite the disappointment, back home he had no shortage of support as residents gathered at the Jindabyne Bowling Club to cheer him on. And that is our sport for tonight, Geoff.
Amy, thank you for that. Tanya has all the latest weather details and a clear sunny day in the nation's capital.
It was, Geoff, and conditions are looking fairly similar tomorrow. I'll have the forecast next.
This weather update, proudly brought to you by the new Toyota Prado. Luxury that goes anywhere.
Hello again, another dry summer's day today. The dusk sky provided the perfect backdrop for the city lights beyond Lake Ginninderra. Thanks to Brent for the photo. I'd love to share your weather shots from around the region. You can email them through to weather@wintv.com.au. Let's have a look at the details from today. A low of 20 in Wollongong. It hit a high of 26 today. Sydney won better with 27, while Ulladulla topped out at 24 degrees. Bateman's Bay's strongest wind gust was 44 kilometres an hour. A top of 29 for Bega after 14 overnight. It was a much cooler night further inland though, to the low at Perisher, topping out at 16 degrees today, 26 the high for Cooma and Jindabyne after 3 overnight. Humidity was sitting at 98% in Canberra at 7 this morning, dropping as winds picked up. It hit a high of 30 degrees today, as did Gungahlin and Yass, while Goulburn topped out at 31. Braidwood's strongest wind gust was 57 kilometres an hour, and taking a look at the satellite now, a ridge of high pressure extends across the Bight through New South Wales, whilst a series of cold fronts are moving across the southern ocean past Tasmania. On the synoptic, the first of these fronts will push a southerly change along the coast tomorrow, reaching the mid-north coast in the afternoon before weakening. Taking a look at the forecast for the south coast, partly cloudy with a medium chance of showers in the afternoon and the evening. A low of 19 for Ulladulla, topping out at 23 throughout the day. Further south, Bateman's Bay heading for a top of 25 degrees, as is Maria, 24 the top for Merimbula. Much the same expected in the Snowy Mountains tomorrow, top of 15 for Thredbo, 17 at Perisher and 23 degrees for Bombala. And to the forecast for the ACT now, mostly sunny tomorrow with just the slight chance of some late drizzle, 13 the overnight low for Braidwood, topping out at 26, 30 the forecast high for Goulburn and Yass. For Canberra, a mostly sunny day ahead, 13 the low, heading for a top of 30 throughout the day with sunrise at 6:37 a.m. and the sun setting at 7:57 p.m. Taking a look at Canberra's temps for the week ahead, Sunday particularly warm, but we are expecting some showers early next week and a bit of fluctuation in the temps ahead, Geoff.
Tanya, thank you. And that is Win News for this Thursday. Good night.
This has been a Win News presentation. Win News, Regional Australia's #1 news source.